Ghana, well, they're pretty much at full strength given the players they've got out here with them. It's an unchanged team from the team that was victorious over Nigeria in the semi-finals. So Asamoah Gyan leading the line. Opoku and Andre Ayew will try to offer support from the flanks. Kwadwo Asamoah, Anthony Annan and Ajumong Badu, the midfield trio. Now, as far as Egypt are concerned, there's one change from the side that destroyed Algeria in the semi-finals. Mahmoud Fatala, the defender, is missing through suspension, so that's prompted the slight alteration in the makeup of this team, with Ahmed Fati dropping back into a more defensive role and Hossam Ghali coming into the midfield. Contest gets underway. Final of the 27th Africa Cup of Nations, with Ghana playing from left to right. My name is Matthew Spiro. The entire 90 or perhaps 120 minutes of Egypt-Ghana is now underway. The early free kick going the way of the Black Stars. Kwadwo Asamoah has been very impressive in this competition, just fouled there by Ahmed Hassan, winning his 172nd cap today. Immediately a decent cross into the box. Huge experience in this Egyptian starting lineup as Samuel Inkoum throws into the penalty area while Goma heads out. Asamoah slightly loose, but Anthony Annan's done well. Now attacking up the left is Opoku. Yeah, the average age of this Egyptian side just over 30. The average age of the Ghanaian side just over 23. Perhaps the statistic that really highlights the difference in experience between these two nations, as Mohamed Zidane plays that through towards Moteb. If you look at the number of appearances made by these two sides, the average number of caps won in the Egyptian starting lineup, 72, while the average for Ghana, 22. It's the first time that Egypt and Ghana have met in the Cup of Nations since 1992. Quite surprising that, given that these two nations have often been in the latter stages of the competitions. And on that occasion it was Ghana who prevailed, thanks to a goal from Tony Yeboah. Moteb was a slight doubt as well before this game. He went off with a tight hamstring in the semi against Algeria, but has managed to shake that off. Asamoah Gyan just nudging the ball beyond his man and winning the free kick. It was the midfielder, in fact, Kwadwo Asamoah, 21-year-old Udinese player who set up Asamoah Gyan's last two goals. No save yet for either goalkeeper, but perhaps SM El Hadri will be tested here. No, the wall has done its job. Well, this man is full of confidence. I mentioned Tony Yeboah a little bit earlier. Yeboah, the last man to score the winning goal against Egypt for Ghana in a Nations Cup game. Asamoah Gyan trying to fill his boots, really, because Ghana have struggled to get their hands on an out-and-out goal scorer in the last decade or so. Asamoah Gyan, though, is in good form. El Hadri's missed it. Luckily for the goalkeeper, his defenders did a better job. The Asamoah Gyan, 3 goals already out here at the Nations Cup. He scored 19 in 36, so he averages more than a goal every 2 games. Tony Yeboah, the former Hamburg and Tottenham player, had a similar strike ratio. Ghana have been blessed with so many excellent midfield players over the years. It's absolutely amazing that they're into the final for the first time in 18 years, and they're without Mantari, Appiah, Michael Essien, Laia Kingston, plus their main centre-back, John Mensah. Ahmed Hassan, that's a good ball into space behind the Ghana defence, but Sarpai did well enough. Well, he's a character, Mohamed Zidane. He's known for his fancy haircuts. He's got a very nice one today. Love equals football, I guess. Helping the ball into the midfield to Hossam Ghali. Ahmed Hassan, contender again for player of the tournament. He was player of the tournament 4 years ago. Scored 3 goals, including a couple of long-range strikes against Cameroon, but that was a wayward effort. Milovan Rajovac has been praised back in Ghana for his tactics in this competition. Nobody really expected the Black Stars to go all the way to the final. It has been a real tactical success. Ghana were on the back foot for much of the semi-final against Nigeria, but got the goal, defended their lead brilliantly. Hosni finds Ahmed Hassan, just manages to find space all the time in that position of his. Right side in midfield, who drifts into the space in between the Ghanaian midfield and defence. And as you can see, likes to try his luck from long range. Hassan Shahata, the Egypt coach, has never tasted defeat in the Africa Cup of Nations. The Pharaohs are now unbeaten in 18 matches in this competition, 17 under Shahata. Sarpai coming forward from left back for the first time. Opoku to Anand. Badu spreads the play to Nkoum, who has time and space to measure across. Gets it in at the second attempt. Poor header from Wild Goma in the first glimpse of goal for the Ghanaians. Andre Ayew off target. Wild Goma's had a very, very good tournament for Egypt. Kwadwo Asamoah, when he lets fly with his left foot, he is very impressive. El Hadri will be relieved that the ball went straight into his arms. It was swerving a little bit. Jan with Wild Goma sticking very closely to him. Asamoah Jan's done excellently. Just one in the middle. That's the problem. The reinforcements were a little bit slow in coming, and there wasn't much Asamoah Jan could do despite that excellent break. If anything, the Ghanaians have started a bit more confidently than Egypt. Jan again. This time Wild Goma gets some help in the form of El Mohammadi. Anthony Anand, Norwegian champion with Rosenborg, gives it to Badu. That ball, though, Andy side could have left it. He's given it to Moad. And Shahata replaced Marco Tardelli as Egypt coach in 2004. He was on the brink of losing his job in 2006, with Egypt struggling to find their form in a dramatic semi-final against Senegal. Senegal unlucky not to win a penalty late on there. It was Hassan Shahata's decision to replace Mido with Ahmed Zaki that led to a furious reaction from Mido. The two of them had a bit of a flare-up. More than a flare-up, they had a slanging match, the two shouting at each other. on the touchline. Amazaki came on and scored with his first touch. Egypt went into the final, and the rest is history, hasn't Shatta? He's become one of the most successful coaches in African football. El Mohammadi with a good ball. Moteb couldn't quite get high enough. You sense when you do something like that that the gods are with you. You take off your star player, certainly in terms of his profile. Mido, his profile's gone downhill a little bit since 2006, but he was very much the star of Egyptian football then. To take him off was a big shout. When you put on a player and that player goes and scores with his first touch, you think, well, maybe I'm going to do well in this job. That's a loose pass from Sarpai. Hosni, beautifully done. Moteb, though, has been forced a bit too wide. He's got the ball back off Forster and won the free kick. It looked like that was going to be Egypt's first real opportunity. The diagonal ball played in by Hosni was excellent, but just forced Moteb a little bit too far wide. Zidane goes towards the far post, good strong header out by Liadi. Just look how hard Ghana are working. They've won the free kick there, which was perhaps fortunate. I don't think Ahmed Fathy did too much wrong, but the way the likes of Apoku and Ayew battle back to win the ball is very impressive. Egypt have travelled out here to Angola without Abu Treka, without Mohamed Barakat, without Shorki, without Amazaki and Mido, who was not selected by Shahatta. I know it's a very young Ghanaian side, but that's just getting a bit silly. Defending to do then for the Black Stars. Youth champions of Africa, now the youth champions of the world. But they're in trouble. Ahmed Hassan very nearly got in at the far post there. That was a really nicely played free kick, just dipping in behind the defenders. Curling away from the goalkeeper, Hosni took it. Yeah, it was a handball from Ahmed Hassan, a cheeky one there. Lucky not to get booked. That's what Richard Kingston's saying. Badu to Antoniano. Sarpai. Samoa Jan. Sarpai has continued his run forward. Leverkusen player gets it back to Anand. Andre Ayew has fitted in and out of games in this tournament. He always works hard. I do feel there's more to come from him. Captain of the all-conquering Ghanaian under-20 side. Nkun's lost out. Moteb. No foul. Going all the way back to Richard Kingston, who surprisingly, that was a terrible clearance. Lucky to get away with it. Surprisingly, Kingston's had nothing to do really against the six-time African champions. It's another valuable experience this for Milovan Rajovac, the Ghanaian coach who's had spells back in Serbia, his homeland. He's coached in Sweden, China and Qatar as well. There's his fellow countryman Ratimir Djukovic, who guided Ghana to the 2006 World Cup, getting them to the last 16, the only African side to make it through to the knockout stage. Can Rajovac do even better in South Africa? Alright. Nice pass, just inviting the run forward. He's Moed again, clipping it in nicely. Well defended by Addy. Opoku is back, battling away with Ahmed Fati. Al Mohammadi takes the ball off Opoku. Fati now. Hosni, that's a lovely angled ball. But Al Mohammadi could not quite get it back across goal. We've seen glimpses of Egypt's talent in midfield. Hosni and Ahmed Hassan occasionally just playing balls in with the outside of their right feet. Yeah, the referee clearly spotted that handball. Would have been justified, I think, in showing a yellow card to Ahmed Hassan. Poor ball. Just rushed a little bit there by Badu. The minute has been played. Half-time whistle is about to go here in Luanda. It's been, I wouldn't say a disappointing first half. I think it's been interesting from a tactical point of view, but we really haven't had enough goal-mouth action. Ghana will be pretty satisfied, even though they haven't quite done enough to get their noses in front. They've looked comfortable. They've looked a match at least for this Egyptian side, as Mr. Koman Koulibaly does blow his whistle for half-time. Goalless it is then between Egypt and Ghana, and the vibrant crowd here in the 11th of November Stadium will be hoping for a better second period. It's Egypt who are going to get the second period underway. Egypt 0, Ghana 0 at the moment here in the 11th of November Stadium. 45 minutes to try to find a winner, otherwise we'll be heading for a 30-minute period of extra time. Wild Goma. Still very much a back four for Egypt. We thought initially that Ahmed Fati would drop back into the defence, but with only one player up for Ghana, no need really to have three central defenders. Hani Said. Goma coming forward. The pattern already set with Ghana getting everybody back behind the ball, bar Asamoah Gyan. Hosni Abdrabou. Al Mohammadi, that was a nasty tackle. He came diving in. Asamoah Opoku with studs showing. A yellow card. It could have been worse. The fact that he got quite a good chunk on the ball saved him, I think. The first yellow card of the afternoon, shown by the referee from Mali, Mr. Koman Koulibaly. Ahmed Fati out to Moad. Fati again. Ghali now. Playing a straight ball that was laid off by Zidane, and then Ahmed Hassan shot. It's the third shot he's had from that sort of range, and he hasn't managed to find the target yet. It's a slightly loose ball. An opportunity here for Ghana. For Opoku, well, he couldn't quite take it in his stride. That's a shame as far as Ghana are concerned. He has won the free kick. It's never nice to see the players asking for a yellow card, but Opoku clearly felt that it was a deliberate block from Al Mohammadi, and he has been booked. Vital that El Hadri gets his ankles right here, because it's such a tight game. It could be a free kick. Provides the breakthrough. It was a very good strike. El Hadri got a touch. A little bit too straight from Asamoah Gyan, but he curled it beautifully. Ahmed Fati. Surely Egypt have got to get the ball out wide a little bit more. Spread the play, because through the middle it's so tight. Ghana are giving it straight back to the Pharaohs here. They're camped inside the Ghanaian half. That's a good ball into the box. Addy heading it up, and an easy one for Kingston. Ghana haven't actually conceded a goal since Lee Addy came into the team to replace Eric Addo. Addo played in the opener against the Ivory Coast. Shooting chance! But it was half a chance, let's say, for Andre Ayew. In a game that's been as tight as this one, we count it as an opening. Now the ball slid through. Nice turn there by Asamoah Gyan. Foul. Goma the offender that time. Well, freshness is bound to be a factor in this game, particularly as we move into the latter stages. Some of the supporters thought that free kick had got in. Clearly, the ball was wide and then came back off the advertising hoarding and hit the back of the net. Took the free kick early though. And picking out Asamoah Gyan. It was quite well played. You can see while Goma just strolling back, actually hit one of the support posts, holding the net up. Now a long ball, that's unusual. Zidane's got onto it. It was better play, it was good play. You sense that perhaps if Egypt mix it up a little bit, play the odd direct pass, it might cause Ghana more problems. Brilliant skill from Kwadwo Asamoah. Asamoah straight into Wild Goma, who hardly flinches. Perhaps Asamoah got a bit carried away there. Now Motep through the middle. Well defended by Sarpai. Motep just gave the fullback an opportunity to get his body between the striker and the ball, and he did just that. Opoku going past El Mohammadi. Needs to come back for support, but Wild Goma read exactly what he was trying to do. Ahmed Hassan, space in front of him. Motep getting ready to make his run. Cleverly done though, out to the right hand side. This is Hosni. Hosni to the far post. Peels for a penalty, the ball's still in play. Zidane can't collect it. Suddenly the pace of the game being lifted. Ayew to Asamoah. Sarpai. Opoku. Possession footballers Ghana just look to get their breath back, I think, more than anything, because the last couple of minutes we've seen both sides attacking with a lot of pace and a lot of energy. Kuhn trying to latch onto that pass from Ayew. Foot up against Zidane, good advantage from the referee. Hosni's pass, over here. Well, talks about freshness being a factor. Ghana, of course, have played one fewer game than Egypt, because they only had 2 matches in the group stage following Togo's withdrawal. You can see there's no foul there at all on Ahmed Hassan. He's still claiming that there was a push in the box. So, 20 minutes to go, time for Super Sub. Top scorer in the Africa Cup of Nations. It's not Emad Motab, it's not Mohamed Zidane, it's not Asamoah Gyan, it's this man. The player who is coming on, Mohamed Nagy Gedo. He scored 4 goals. 3 of the 4 have been after coming off the substitutes bench. He is very much a specialist substitute in this Egyptian side. 25-year-old attacking midfield player. Only broke into the Egypt side just before Christmas. And and in his second appearance came on as a substitute against Mali earlier in January, just before this tournament. Scored a goal, and he's continued doing that ever since. Yadi's come into the centre of defence in place of Eric Addo. Now a mistake at the back from Egypt. Is this the moment for Ghana? 3 up in this attack. Well, no free kick, to the astonishment of the Ghanaian players. Wasted opportunity for the Black Stars. Or Egypt just starting to feel the fatigue now. Opoku. Chance for Gian. Only just over. The Egyptian defence is creaking at the moment, and Ghana sense that their time has come now. The initial opportunity fell to Andre Ayew. Did the defender get a piece on the ball? In any case, it was a difficult moment or two here for Egypt. El Mohammadi just robbing Opoku, the ball falling nicely to the informed man, Asamoah Gyan. Curling it a little bit too high. I'm sure that Ghanaian players who've missed out, the likes of Essien Mantari and Appi, will be watching and will be proud of the way these young Ghanaians have competed so far against Egypt. And a mistake from El Hadoury. Momentum still with the Black Stars here. Asamoah Gyan. Anan. Badou's pass finds Asamoah Gyan again. This time, Ghana do get the decision, so a free kick on this left-hand side. Ghana putting Egypt under pressure, but watch out for Egypt on the counter-attack. It's at this sort of stage of the game when they can just hit you with a lightning counter-attack. But it was well read. It was well read by Zidane, but slightly clumsy. He came across Badou, didn't win the ball, took Badou out. So this is a more central free kick. We've seen one decent one from Asamoah Gyan, tipped over by Essien El Hadoury. You feel that the Ren striker's going to take charge again. It's a good effort, and El Hadoury punching it out. Just slid off his gloves, and I think for a worrying split second, Essien El Hadoury must have thought that he'd committed a blunder there, but he got sufficiently behind the ball. Probably quite right not to try to catch that one. It was a powerful strike, curling away from El Hadoury. 12 minutes to go now. It's getting very tense in Luanda. Opoku again cutting the ball back. Shooting chance perhaps. Badou's gone wide now. Opoku again. Closed down by Geddo. And it's hit. It's this sort of opportunity that Egypt could well take. Ahmed Fatty ran into trouble though. Badou showing very impressive strength once more. Nkoum. Asamoah Gyan. Well, that's cleverly done. Chance for Ghana. They were within a whisker of getting the goal they so dearly won. The burst forward from Samuel Nkoum just to caught the Egyptians out on their left-hand side. Let's have a look at this again. It was a clever ball from Asamoah Gyan, and although it took a deflection, Nkoum still managed to get on the end of it, clipped it across the box. Hans Adu Sarpai, Ghanaian by birth, he moved to Germany at a very young age with his parents, Sarpai. Nkoum's cross takes a deflection, finds its way all the way to the left to Opoku. Well, that's taken a deflection. El Hadoury does well, sharply getting across and preventing the corner. Abdel Shafi gives it to Hossein Ghali. Slight lack of spark in the Egyptian midfield so far today. Zidane, that's a good return ball. Is this it? Yes, it is! Egypt have broken the deadlock with just 5 minutes left, and it's their super sub, Ghetto, who is surely going to finish this tournament as top scorer. It's his 5th of the competition. A brilliant 1-2 with Mohamed Zidane, and Egypt, as they did 2 years ago, have struck close to the death. A wonderful finish from Ghetto, no chance for Richard Kingston. It's the first time in this game that Egypt have found some space in the Ghanaian penalty area, and it is almost certainly going to be good enough to seal them a 7th title. Well, this player has been an inspiration for Egypt out here in Angola. Ghetto giving the ball to Zidane, showing Zidane where he wanted the return pass, and finishing it brilliantly with the instep of his right foot. Goal number 5 for him in the tournament, and it's the biggest goal he's scored in his career. Wouldn't you just know it? Ghana have worked so hard, they've looked more dangerous for much of the second half, but they haven't scored, and Egypt have. How much added time are we going to have? We haven't had too many injuries. Sarpai helps the ball forward. Ayew does well just to retain possession. That was a foul from Ahmed Hassan, the referee playing on. Badu gets it wide. Nkoum is up on the overlap. Shot comes in. It's a very disappointing effort. So many Ghanaian players in the box as time ticks down towards the 90-minute mark. Feel that the trip has been well worthwhile. It's a very long trip from North Africa to the southern nation of Angola. Some of these fans have taken in a double header with the semi-final against Algeria and this final. What a couple of matches it's been for the Egyptian fans. One last chance perhaps for Ghana. Played into the box, they're queuing up! But the ball has rolled into the arms of Essam El-Hadary. So close. Yeah, the trophy is slipping out of their grasp here. Ball still with the Egyptians. Zidane is offside. Ghana are going to have long enough to get the ball forward. We've had 3 minutes and 25 seconds now. That's it. Egypt are the Africa Cup of Nations champions for the 3rd time running and for the 7th time in history. They are simply unstoppable. They may not be going to the World Cup in 2010, but they have proved again in the last 3 weeks that they are the best team in Africa. Hassan Shehata makes history. He's the coach who becomes the first man ever to lead an African side to 3 Africa Cup of Nations trophies. A wonderful achievement Egypt and Ghana had been hoping for today, but it's Egypt and it's Ahmed Hassan who received the Africa Cup of Nations trophy. Egypt, once again, are the kings of Africa. Ahmed Hassan lifts the trophy aloft. Egypt have conquered all once again. They've beaten Ghana by 1-0, and they have become the first nation to win 3 successive Africa Cup of Nations.